from one data center to the another one. We had ASR connects between Hamburg and Karlsruhe with 2 of 10 G lines. And yeah, we had a lot of issues with this kind of replication. Not really issues. We had a bunch of data, 150 terabytes incomplete. So the biggest problem here was we had on the new replication side only 4 hours to make the swing. And we started with Veeam for the replication because, yes, I already said, it was already licensed, and for the DataCore, we used DataCore for only one thing. We had a big, huge 20 terabyte file server, what he had presented raw device mapped loons, because it was a cluster of 2 nodes. So there's no option to snapshot the whole virtual machine, you know. And here we use DataCore asynchronous replication functionality. This means we bring up on the other side as well DataCore nodes, 2 nodes with a bunch of raw capacity, 250 terabytes or something like that. So we had the option to use here ASR, and this was my first contact with ASR. I used DataCore since I don't know, 5 years or something like that, but I had no option to use ASR or something like that for this. And for the Veeam replication, here was the biggest point. You can use Veeam. No, we used Veeam, but we need to put bundles for every virtual machine. So it makes no sense to put, I don't know, DMZ servers with database servers in one replication set. So from this point, the most important work of the replication with Veeam was to put the correct virtual machines in the correct replication set. This is what I learned a lot, because for the first test everything goes wrong. We started also when the replication was done. We did a lot of bubble tests, we call it so. So we start everything on the new data center and see if the virtual machine running, is the application starting, is everything what we expected working as expected. We had so funny systems like /9, Windows NT. This was, yes, it was really interesting to see how Windows NT reacts when you snapshot it and start it on the other side. Really interesting. Or /9. Here was we had other issues like network configuration and so on, because in the old environment we had routes on each server, and we need to remove it because on the new data center we had only one gateway and everything goes over the firewall. And here it was really helpful for us to have runbooks. I don't know, we tried 10 times, 50 times, everything is working as expected. We created test users, they had a connection to the bubble, and yeah, it was really challenging, because on the day where we started with Big Bang, we called it Big Bang because everything was shut down at a time. I think it was on Sunday at 12 a.m. We started at 12 a.m. So this means for us, the database guys, the application servers needs to be shut down, starting of the replication of these VMs. The database services needs to be shut down. The backups needs to be extracted, transferred, and imported it again, and so on. It was challenging, but with a lot of testing and a lot of scripting, because you can. I don't know how familiar you are with Veeam and replication. Yeah, you can also there create some starting orders for a failover test plan or something like that. We used it only on the Big Bang. In everything else, testing phases, we used our scripts. Also we used our scripts on the Big Bang. We used Veeam to replicate every data after every virtual machine was shut down. We go to Veeam and say, okay, replicate last time, and then we disabled every replication job. and on the other side we go through our scripts, because it was much easier and faster, because there we had some issues when we start with Veeam. He start one virtual machine after one and one. So, but for the application servers or Active Directory stuff, or so, it makes no sense. We can start 20, 50 virtual machines at the same time, because they need a lot of time to resync and come up again. And we had 4 phases for the Big Bang. Phase 1 was start everything what is needed for the infrastructure, like Active Directory, DNS, DHCP servers, some other important servers for the company, what's not needed for any other stuff, only for the infrastructure services. So in phase 1 we started everything with the script. Fire and forget, and let these things starting 10-50 minutes before. In this time the database guys copied every data from Hamburg to Karlsruhe and said, okay, we try to start now the complete databases, because the databases was and are now also not as VM virtual machine, as they are really hardware with 1.5 terabytes of memory and something like that. So I don't want to have this on virtual machine, because we speak about 25 terabytes on data only for one of the production databases. So yeah, and here we had, after 4 hours, everything running on the other side, and here was the biggest challenge. A lot of Windows servers lost the trust to the Active Directory. So what means this? I think you know it. Remove it from the Active Directory and join it again. Everything works fine, but when you have a lot of virtual machines with the same problem, and this never happened, really, this never happened in our test bubbles, never, you're sitting there and think, what's going on now? And also the DataCore replication works like a charm. I never see this before. I pressed test, and it took, I'm not sure, 30 seconds or so, and the test bubble had also the raw device map loons. I need to rescan the ESX servers and could start the FileServer Cluster, and here we are. We was able to test, and in the Big Bang we had the issue which said fail over, and nothing happened, and you sit there. Okay, are you kidding? So after 5 minutes of waiting and pressing and pressing and pressing, DataCore failed over and everything was fine. And you sit there, because at this point I was the only guy who needs to work. My scripts was working, I need to fail over the DataCore, and the virtual machines are up and running. We fixed everything because we had a run book, I don't know, 20 Excel sheet sites, and everything. I need to go forward, and it was really crazy, but we was able to move everything, 350, 400 virtual machines and 20 terabytes of DataCore to the new site without any interruption. And yeah, this was really a great experience, and I never thought this is possible with this way, because I know no one who was able to do this way. Yeah, sure, replication and DataCore ASR works like a charm, but to move a complete data center this way, and it was a complete other thinking. And I had a lot of discussions with the head of IT and so on about this way. She want to, yeah, it was really challenging. When you have some other questions about this, will be here for when you want. And yeah, do you have other questions, or maybe later? Okay, we can ask. Okay, then from my point, I'm finished, and I'm really sorry that I doesn't prepare anything, but yeah, when you have questions, I'm here. Thank you. Hey.